man, it's the grab bag.
Well, we decided to watch a new movie on Netflix with the kids, and it's called Chupa, short for Chupacabra. The only thing is that the creatures in the movie were not really chupacabras, they were closer to manticores. You see, they were these, you could almost call them like mountain lions with wings, and their tail was kind of spiky a little bit. Um, and they looked a little bit closer to what a manticore should look like rather than chupacabras, because according to the myths, chupacabras were supposed to be almost bipedal with reptilian kind of looks to them, with like quills on their back, kind of like a porcupine. Of course, they also are called the goat sucker because these mysterious occurrences involved usually goats having all their blood sucked out of their body. And in this film, it looked like they were more like just mountain lions and they were going to eat the goats. But that being said, this was a kids' movie and it was okay. I mean, kids will probably enjoy it, and they probably the big reason they changed chupacabras is because they wanted it to be more kid friendly, so they made them have cute looking faces. And the plot involves a boy going down to visit his grandfather who doesn't really get along with that side of the family, because his father passed away at some point in the past, and he's now being sent by his mom to go visit his grandfather so he can reconnect with that side of the family. But he's never been in Mexico before, and he doesn't really speak Spanish. Um, and it's basically just him learning how to open up after losing his father, and they stumble across this creature. He befriends it. It's a baby, yeah, I was about to call it manticore. It was a baby chupacabra, and their goal is to try to return him to his family. But the American government is trying to capture the chupacabra because they want the chupacabra for research. And there was an underlying plot where the grandfather used to be a luchador and he's teaching the kids about lucha libre. And, well, because of that, I had to explain to my daughter about professional wrestling. I didn't show her, any actual lucha libre or anything. I showed her WWE. During the Mankind versus The Rock era, I just loaded a couple of those videos because I had recently watched a Mick Foley interview. And after watching a couple matches and explaining how the fights work, I made sure to pick out ones that weren't like Mankind versus The Undertaker Hell in the Cell. That's a little bit intense for a 4-year-old. So I just tried to explain how they're not actually trying to hurt each other, and a lot of the stuff is, faked. Now, I'm not saying that professional wrestling is fake. I'm saying that the stunts that they do, they try to make sure to minimize the amount of pain they're actually doing to each other. It's actually a really incredible art if you're paying attention. Of course, there's a whole gigantic level of cheese that comes with it, but that's part of the fun. So to get back to the movie, the grandfather actually puts his costume on at some point, and he fights the American researcher, literally by wrestling him. And the little baby man, I was going to call it a manticore again. It's not a manticore, it is a chupacabra. I keep saying that because that's literally all that goes through my mind is, oh no, this was supposed to be a manticore, but I don't know. So, anyways, that's a plow going down the street really slowly. Okay. Anywho, we had a gigantic snowstorm and had 7 inches of snow overnight, so that was fun. But it kind of stopped today, so that's good. Um, Overall, it's on Netflix. Chupa's fun. It's more so for kids. If you're an adult, you probably want to pass on it. And if you know anything about the actual myths, you might want to pass on it. Um, but I think that it's a fine movie to show kids. It's uh, helping a kid get out of his shell and learning. That's pretty much it. It's a fine movie.